Sam Schaefer here with Schaefer Adaptive Methods. I'm here to demonstrate and explain the kettlebell swing. More specifically, we're going to go over the more traditional or Russian style swing, which will go from hips just to eye level and repeat. So the kettlebell swing at its most base broken down level is a hinge position plus explosion plus patience. The kettlebell swing is going to require the full body to operate, but know that the primary thing we are going to be using will be our hips to generate and move this bell. One thing that I like to talk to my athletes about with this movement is that this isn't a lift like a bicep curl or an overhead press. This is more of a launch, let it rise, let it fall, do it again sort of movement. So while this is a very explosive movement, it actually requires a high level of patience to execute at its best and to get the maximum benefits out of this one. If our primary pump from kettlebell swings are in our shoulders, we know that we're not doing a lot of kettlebell swinging. We're using our legs to do a lot of kettlebell shoulder raises. And that's not the direction we're trying to go here. This is primarily a posterior chain exercise. Glutes, hamstrings, low back, lats, all of them are big time drivers. So with this movement, there's a couple ways to get this thing started. They both start with getting active feet and a step back. So one, again, feet are into the floor, we're active, toes are spread and grabbing, and then I can either hike this bell, which is where I'm gonna start, or we can do a kettlebell deadlift and then use our leg to give it a little bit of a bump. So all we're gonna do is the hike, no swing coming quite yet. But here's where I get in front. Again, my feet are flat into that floor, set my back, and I'm going to rise a little bit with my legs as I pull my hands back here. And that's the position we're trying to get into. You'll notice that bell comes behind me and even has a little bit of lift. This is the ideal. This means that I have put power on the bell and I've let it just kind of, again, launch instead of lift. Our other option would be where we can set our back for a deadlift, pick it up off to the side, and then now we're back into that same position. When we've gotten there and we stay true to our hinge, and this is where it becomes kind of challenging with this movement, is it's very easy to get a little squatty. So hinge, maximal movement in my hips, minimal in my knees, squat. Flexion of the knees is included in, along with movement in the hips. The hips may vary in terms of the squat, but we don't want the big knee bend on this one. The good way to kind of check this if you're on your own, you don't have a coach, vertical shins. Keep your knees back. Make sure that they're not coming forward as that bell comes through. So for today's demonstration, I'm going to use the hike method, and I'm going to do a few swings right here, and then we're going to talk about what's happening. So in that demonstration, hopefully we saw our hinge. I come from this position, arms are long. I'm going to explosively drive my knees into my feet, squeeze the butt, push forward while that bell's here, and I basically just throw this guy out here and I let what's gonna happen, happen. When I've got my hands on the bell, it's going to come out as long as your arms. You'll see maybe a little bit of moment of weightlessness at the very end, and then it kind of falls. One of the big things that's very easy to miss is timing on the way back down. When that bell is coming down, I want to stay upright, 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 as long as I can, let it fall, let it fall. And as the bell naturally starts to pull me forward, I revert to my hinge pattern. I don't just drop with it. The better I do that, the more benefit I get from this swing, and the more carryover I get to other exercises or other activities outside of the gym. So again, just getting into a couple more here, change my angle just a little bit. So now that we've got a little bit better idea of what we're looking for, again, let it rise, let it fall, getting into that timing. So that is your very base level introduction to the kettlebell swing, explosion, patience, and position.